Hello, happy people. This is Mr. Wilcox. This is for Algebra 1. So, we practiced plugging numbers into equations last time. So, today, what we're going to practice is we're just going to write equations from word problems. So, we're not going to worry about solving those equations or answering any questions. We're just going to practice setting up word problems and changing those real life examples to math models. So, here's how we're going to do that. So there are 4 steps we're going to follow for every word problem, and the first one we always have to do whenever we encounter an application, we are going to use a variable for an unknown. And so, since math is a language, we want to make sure that everyone understands what we are doing. So, for our variable, we're going to do what's called declaring our variable. So that means we're going to write a statement like if we're using x, we're going to write what x equals. So x equals the number of miles run. Maybe x equals the number of cookies baked. Maybe x is the number of apples sold. Whatever our variable stands for, we're going to declare that. So anyone who looked at our work or anyone looking at this problem knows exactly what our variable stands for. And most importantly, we know exactly what our variable stands for and what we are looking for. All right, so step 1, we're going to declare our variable. After we declare our variable, we're going to read through the problem again. And so we found what we're looking for. Now we're going to find a rate that is related to what we're looking for. So a rate is the number we're going to put in front of our variable. So if we're doing a problem that has to do with money, we're going to look for things that are like per day, per week, per year, per hour with money. So $5 per day, $5 for maybe you pay rent, which is $140 per month. Something for money over time. If we're looking at direction or speed, we're going to be looking for miles per hour, kilometers per hour, feet per second. So that word again, per is in there, or for each. That's really what's going to tell us that we found a rate. And that is going to be the number we put in front of our variable. So we're going to multiply it by our variable. So it should be like if we're looking per days, our variable we declared should probably be something about days. So they're going to be related, and we're looking for the words per or for each, and we're going to put that in front of the variable. So we've declared our variable, we found a rate, we put it in front of our variable. Now we're going to look for an initial value. So an initial value is a number we're going to add or subtract. So normally 9 times out of 10, we're going to add this on because the value we start from is usually something we add on because we usually start with positive numbers when we're talking about linear relationships. So we're going to look for one-time charges with money, one-time payments. Maybe there's an initial charge. So there's going to be one time something we start with that we have to do when we begin, and then we're going to add that on. For distance, we're going to start like maybe we start 5 feet in front of something or behind something, so we can add or subtract from there. So starting points, one-time fees, anything that's a one-time thing, that's going to be our starting point, and we're going to add that on. So we declared a variable, we multiplied that variable by a rate, and we added on an initial value. Step 4 is to look for a total. So totals are, we're going to have a total. We're not going to have any inequalities. We're only going to have equal signs. So we're going to look for something that is something. Our total is $10. You spent $10. For, do I have a distance? Here we go. You went a total of 3 miles for your distance. So it's something that our total is. And we're going to put that on the other side of an equal sign. So now we have made an equation. We have a number times a variable plus another number equal to a number. So we've declared our variable, We've multiplied it by a rate. We've added something on. We said equal to a number. The last thing that we could do today, and we will have to do, is they will give us a number to see if it is a solution to our problem. So again, this chapter, we're not going to actually solve our equations. That's what we're going to remember how to do next chapter. This chapter, we're just going to focus on, if we have an application, how do we change the math words into a model that's an equation so that we can figure out what is happening. So here's our example. Again, remember you can pause this video at any time. So you're really going to want to write this down because we're going to go through and find different pieces to make our equation. So a guide charges a $5 fee to start a hike and then charges $2 per mile hiked. If you spend $23, we're going to write an equation that represents this situation. So first thing, we are going to find our variable. What are we looking for? And so it looks like we have a fee to make a hike, $2 per mile hiked, and the amount of money we spent. What we don't have the number of miles. So that is what I'm going to make my variable. And you can make your variable, remember, any letter except for E, I, or O, because E and I are both numbers, and O looks like a 0. So I'm going to use M. I like M because it's going to stand for the number of miles. Please don't just put M equals miles, because that's not true. It equals the number of miles. That's the number of miles hiked, to be very specific. And the reason we do that, now anyone who looks at this problem, including you, knows exactly what you should plug in for M, a number of miles. It shouldn't be any dollar amount. It shouldn't be any other crazy thing you could find in the problem. It's only the number of miles hiked. So we're going to start with M. The next thing we're going to look for is a rate. So we're going to go back to our problem and we're going to read through till we find a phrase that says something per mile or for each mile. So if we go back to our problem, a guide charges $5 fee. That doesn't have a per or a for each. And then charges $2 per mile. $2 per mile hiked. That is a rate. And since that's a rate, we're going to multiply that. And the reason we do that is because if I take miles times dollars per mile, my miles will cancel out. I'll be left with dollars. And remember, my total is going to be amount of dollars. So I found my variable, I declared it, and I multiplied it by a rate. Now I'm going to go back through my problem and try to find a one-time charge or one-time fee or something that starts us off. So it says a guide charges $5 to start. So since we start with a $5 fee, we're going to add that on. So we have to pay $2 per mile times our mile, so that gets us some money and our $5. And now we're going to go to step 4, which is to find a total. So it says if I spend $23 total, it doesn't say total, but it kind of implies total. So what this is equal to $23. So whatever money, how many miles we hiked, if we multiply that by our $2 per mile, that gets us some money, plus our $5 we started, should equal a total of 23 miles. So this is actually our answer to the first part. M equals the number of miles, and then our equation is 2M plus 5 equals 23. So again, we took our variable, we declared it, we multiplied it by a rate, we added on initial fee, we said what the total was. All right, and like I said, the last part of the problem will usually have you check an answer. So here, remember our equation was 2m plus 5 equals 23. And notice they gave us a number of miles, and that's what we declared our variable to be. So we're going to check does m equal 18? So if I plug in 18 for my m, we want to see if it is truly 18 miles is our answer. Then we should get this side to equal 23. So if I take 2 times 18, I get 36. And if I take 36 plus 5, I get 41. And does 41 equal 23? No, it does not. So is your friend correct? No, she is not correct, because you would have had to spend $41 if you hiked 18 miles. All right, so that's our notes for the day. So remember, you're going to declare your variable, find a rate to multiply it by, add on an initial value, set equal to the total. That's going to get you an equation. And the second part of each problem, you're going to use that equation to check an answer that they give you. All right, so you shouldn't be solving your equations. You should just be or practice writing them, because it's very important to practice translating words to mathematical models, because that's what math is all about, is taking the world and modeling it. So today's worksheet is on Brightspace, and then tomorrow for your virtual assignment, you will be doing another worksheet that will be actually due. So make sure you're looking at the activity feed for that worksheet, and have a great day, Cardinals, and make it count.